Oh man, they're as good a duo as any. I know Judge and Soto. There are others around the league, but it ranks right up there. I mean, they're mainly because they're dangerous against lefties and righties. I mean, there's not one way for them to attack them. You got to give them as many different looks as you can. You got to hope for the best some days when they're hot. They both have hit tools and power and decent discipline. So I don't like it at all from this side.
Going left, Michael.
AJ, there's been a lot of talk about you mixing and matching your arms. Do you enjoy doing that with your lineup as well? Seems like you will do that throughout games and within a series.
Yeah, so I think change is always hard in baseball. Historically, everybody really enjoys the known, and whether that's who's your leadoff hitter, or who's your 4-hole hitter, or who's your 3-hole hitter, which modern day has turned into a 2-hole hitter. I mean, you hear all the different. I hear it all the time from baseball purists, and but the reality is you're calling your plays against the opponent and against how you're matching up against these guys, and especially when you have flexibility, when you have advantages, when you have certain guys. Of course, I like to pair up certain guys, or there's reasons why lineup construction changes. I'm not saying the other way is bad. Like when you have a set lineup that is talented at hitting righties and lefties, is talented at getting on base and driving in runs, that can, there's a ton of value in stability. But it doesn't mean the other way is not good. And so for us, with our group, they're all in on whatever it takes, whether they got to hit, Parker Meadows hit 9th yesterday, he's going to hit 1st today. Riley Green's hit anywhere in the top 4. Carpenter started out in the middle of the order, now he's hitting 2nd. I've flirted with leading off a bunch of different guys, and if you don't tie, for our team, if you don't tie their value in their self-worth to a particular part of the order, then you can really, to use the football analogy, just call the right play and put them in a position to do well.
AJ, there was a large portion of the summer where you had 3 outfielders down, and Matt Vierling was the constant, kind of held down the fort. How important was his performance in allowing you to be in a position where you could make a run late in the year?
Matt Vierling is, never underappreciated, but maybe we don't talk about him enough. And it's not just the versatility that he provides; it's the quality of play. And even within games, you've seen me play him in center, move him to right, move him to left, move him to third. He played first base the other day, and allows me to make any decision at any point. So it's all connected to how our roster is built and how do we maximize their strengths to beat the opponent. And he's a perfect example of that. And it's not easy. He makes it look easy. He doesn't complain when he doesn't play. He doesn't complain when he doesn't know what glove to bring out for early work. He's an amazing human who's willing to do anything to win. And in a case in point, yesterday he's playing third base on the biggest stage for our team. Maybe not the biggest stage for him. He's played in the World Series, but that was in center field at this ballpark. I don't think he's played third base in this park in the playoffs. So very important to have selfless players who, with versatility, and understand that they're asked to do different things on different days, and they respond.
Anything else for AJ? We'll go on the right in the middle.
We know you love to hit the reset button, and you've taught these guys how to do that, but certainly along the way this season and with your resume of experience, you've also learned how to carry positive momentum from day to day when you do want to carry that. What's the key to that in this situation?
Yeah, I think because we've been practicing staying grounded in where we're at, we're going to approach the day with the same enthusiasm that we did yesterday because it's worked for us. It doesn't mean we don't celebrate. We celebrate hard. We enjoy wins, and we know the position that we're in. And I've just got to convince them that 3 hours from now, or from game time, we're not going to get emotionally tied and crushed if there's force in a game 3. We're also, we will celebrate today if we win. we all know what's at stake. We're going to play the game the same way. I think it's most important to play the game the same way and push hard. We got to stay aggressive. You know, I know Matt Vierling got thrown out on a dirt ball yesterday. I don't want him to stop. Like, he needs to continue to do that. Otherwise, we wouldn't capitalize on the first to thirds we went yesterday. You have Jake Rogers running in the face of the center fielder. You have, you know, guys making, you know, crazy slides in order to put pressure on the opponent. Like, that's got to continue. You know, we're not going to win carefully today. We're going to keep pushing this. If we win, we know the reward. If we don't, we know we have a game tomorrow. And the fact that we can push the reset button after both good things and bad things has been an underrated portion of our ability to stay grounded.
Go on the far left, second row.
AJ, you know firsthand how dangerous Altuve can be. Is there any added, you know, just you having known him for so long, and do you kind of breathe a sigh of relief when, okay, we got that guy out?
So the first pitch of every game we play against the Astros is one of the toughest pitches to manage through, because you know he can change the scoreboard from the first pitch of the game. He electrifies their team and this crowd. Like, he is, I think I was quoted years ago saying he's everything right about the Astros, and he is. And so, yeah, when he comes up to bat and the lineup rolls around, it's a difficult spot to be in on the other side. So we always say, you know, George and me, Fed, we talk about every top of the inning, hey, get the first guy, because generally that's going to put you in a better position to keep them down. I'm not sure there's many guys in the league that's not more critically important than getting Jose Altuve out, and that's a tall task.
AJ was just talking about keep pressing the envelope. You got thrown out on a dirt ball yesterday, and he made a point of saying he doesn't want you to stop. Can you talk about how that mentality is already ingrained, like from Joey to AJ all year? I mean, you had no intention of like being cautious at this point.
No, yeah, we kind of strive to play that way. We've played that way, you know, for sure the last couple months of the year, and you know, we don't want to stop that. Feel like you know, probably a little bit late of a read by me, and then Diaz made a great play, throwing me out. But you know, I talked to AJ about it, and I was just like, he was like, look, we play the way we play, and we're not going to stop that now, so don't feel bad. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to, you know, feel bad for making a play like that or be sorry for it. I mean, we're going, and you know, I got thrown out, but that's what we're trying to push the envelope like that. And even though we're in the postseason, you know, it's what got us here. We want to keep that pressure.
We'll go in the third row.
Matt, before yesterday, you were the only guy on the active roster with any playoff experience. What did you tell your teammates about how to deal with the pressure or staying even-keeled in environments like this?
Yeah, I think I saw that stat too. That was kind of crazy. No, I mean, I was told a couple of years ago when I was with Philly just to enjoy the moment, the butterflies, the anxiousness, nervousness, just to embrace it, and not everybody gets to feel that. So, yeah, I didn't really go around trying to, you know, pump the guys up or anything like that, so to speak. But if anyone did ask me, it was just enjoy it. I think I told Torque that just to enjoy the moment, embrace it. Going to be nervous, going to have butterflies, but you know, even to get that feeling is pretty special. So just to change your mindset to think like that helps a lot.
Jason in the front.
Matt, to follow up on the base running mentality, how does Jake going first to third yesterday change that at bat that you had to drive him in? And what is it like what kind of example does it set for, you know, a catcher to go first to third on that type of ball?
Yeah, same thing we just talked about, right? Just to keep that pressure, keep playing the way we've been playing the past couple months. You know, for him to go first to third on that ball, you know, there was 2 outs, so it wasn't necessarily a change in mindset for me. It was still, you know, hit the ball hard, try to get a base hit and get a good pitch to hit. But just putting pressure, I mean, also it puts pressure on the catcher, him being on third base to block every ball that he can. Yeah, and just to keep that aggressive mentality in every situation. It really evidenced itself right there. And, yeah, that's what we're trying to do. So it was a great move by him.
There's a spectrum of emotions going into this, embracing the butterflies, but also AJ's preached all year about staying grounded, hitting the reset button. Have you picked up any tools along the way, whether it's mental or physical, that helps you stay grounded in these butterfly moments?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the first game of the series or anything like that, I've noticed that's when you really get, those feelings. But as you get into the series, you kind of get into the moment, and the farther you get, the more you're in it. So, but no, I mean, kind of you have those before the game, but once you get into the game and really start to get into the process of the game, it starts to go away, and you start to really get into it. As far as tools and stuff that help me, just control my breathing, try to relax, and try to really think about the game and what I can do, and anticipate certain things. That kind of helps me stay grounded during the game, and especially during those big moments.
Go to Cody, front left.
Hey, Matt, do you remember the meeting AJ alluded to in his speech after you guys clinched, where he asked, what sort of team do you guys want to be, and was there anything else that stood out about that?
Yeah, I mean, that was a special moment for us. To get that speech from him was really cool, and we worked super hard to get there, so I'm sure he prepared that. But, I mean, yeah, we were just excited at that point, and to be a playoff team is something we strive for the whole year, and to actually see it come true was huge for us. So, yeah, I think just that moment, to have him say that at that point and to actually be a playoff team, was pretty special.
Go to Jeff in the middle.
Just a quick follow-up on that. And then when he sprayed the champagne and said that to you guys, how did that feel? Or did it,
Yeah, no,
did it take
felt,
you right back?
Yeah, no, it felt great. Yeah, it's kind of a culmination of a year's hard work to get to that point, and yeah, we definitely celebrated accordingly, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, to get a speech like that in that moment was really special for all of us.
Go back to Jason in the front.
This might be going back a little ways, but do you remember your first experience with seeing Tarek screaming after a big strikeout to end an inning? What your reaction was, and now that he's been doing it for a while, is this something the team feeds off of?
I think so. I think that when I don't know when the first time that I remembered him doing that. I feel like it probably happened about halfway through the year, whenever it started getting kind of the grind times of the year, dog days a little bit, and he was still going. At that point, you find yourself in some jams, and he had really been dominant up to about that point, and then he just kept it going. But when he yells and gets loud, and that's him. I mean, when he gets like that, it definitely fires us all up, and it allows us to realize how much of a competitor he is, and it just, he's not afraid to show some emotion when he does that. So it definitely uplifts the team, and usually when he does that, he's getting out of a big spot, or, he gets a big strikeout or something like that. So those are usually huge moments for us as a team. And yeah, it absolutely gets us going, everybody.
Beau, I think somebody asked you this in the clubhouse after the game yesterday, but to hit 100 miles per hour, did you realize it at the time? And whenever you did, what does it mean to get there?
I knew it was coming out good, and I also knew that I was giving it my best effort. I was letting it go, and I think it was just the heat of the moment battle. Because he's putting good swings on everything. The at-bats that they were having against all of us yesterday, they were making us battle, they were making us fight, and we had to execute our best pitches to get them out. So that's, I think, in a situation like that, just brings the best out of both guys. And I wasn't really thinking too much about it. I just was trying to execute a pitch. But I knew I had my good stuff, yeah.
Think back to the guy from minor league minicamp a few years ago. Would you have imagined back then that now you would be a reliever throwing 100 miles an hour in the postseason?
Yeah, because that was always a goal of mine to try to always improve my mechanics, improve my body, to try to reach whatever my potential is as far as the output goes, and trying to build the best stuff as possible, because I think pitching is half stuff and then half execution, and you can get away with a little bit more when you also are trying to make progress with your stuff as the years go on, and then you hope that that also kind of aligns with your ability to execute it. So that's always been a goal of mine, is just to approach it as many ways as I can to try to get better, try to become a better pitcher. And yeah, I always believed that I had that in me. And I mean, now it's just kind of being able to be consistent and utilize it.
Go to Cody in the front.
Yeah, Beau, I think the season you were in Erie, your fastball averaged like 93 miles an hour. What has allowed you to gain as much velocity as you have?
I would say the big step for me was after my rookie year, I realized that I really wasn't as physically developed as a lot of guys that you would just look around and see across the league that were able to do it for 162, able to stay healthy, able to just produce at a consistent level. I think your body has to be in a certain, it has to be at a certain level, to be quite honest. And I think that I needed to make that next step physically, and that comes with maturing too, getting older, getting another year of training, another year, a full off season of working out, eating enough, learning what I needed to do to just make that progress. I think I gained 20 pounds after my rookie year, and that helped a lot. And then also just getting a better feel for my mechanics, and like I said, trying to make consistent adjustments as time goes on.
We'll go in the very back in the video row.
Beau, back here. I think a long time ago, probably a couple of years ago now, you told me that when you were growing up, I believe it was you that said, sacrifice for what you want now, so what you want doesn't become your sacrifice.
Yeah.
How much does that resonate in a series like this?
That would be my mantra as I was up and coming and trying to chase a dream. That's always been the way that I've approached things. So when you get into this situation, it's like we joked about it, it's like, you don't change everything now that you're here. You got to keep doing what you're doing and trust your ability, and just go out there and be yourself and execute. So that's always that's the way I'm approaching things. Like, you got to make your sacrifices, you got to prepare, you got to give your best effort, and then you just leave it all out on the table and see what happens.
Go to the middle, Jeff.
I think post-game you mentioned, you seem pretty jacked up at the
Yeah.
moment. How long did that last, and what was it like waking up today, and how do you reset?
It was just a different level of me being wired. I couldn't really get my thoughts in order. I was just still kind of beamed up, and that lasted until I got to the hotel, and then the adrenaline kind of quickly dumped, and I was ready to go lay in bed and pass out, and I got a good night's sleep, that's for sure, definitely. And now we're back and we're get ready to go again.
Anything else for Beau? We'll go to Jason in front.
The late inning situations and jams that AJ trusted you with down the stretch, I think in Oakland, in Baltimore, a couple other places, how did that prepare you for a moment like yesterday? And how did it, if it did, affect the way you wore them up sometimes on short notice for a specific part of it?
In the specific situation that I came in yesterday, as I was warming up, I was pretty much just putting myself back into the mindset I was in when I went in Baltimore, because it felt very similar, and I didn't know exactly what situation I was going to come into, but it ended up being very, very similar. So try to get myself back in the mode of, you know, go out there and try to execute to the best of my ability and embrace it. Don't shy away from it. Don't try to do too much. Just embrace the situation that I'm coming into and trust my stuff. But I'll say definitely I got hot earlier in the game, and I think that really helped kind of get rid of all of the anxiousness and nerves once I got the first phone call and I started warming up and then they sat me down. That really helped me be able to kind of relax and just kind of ease myself until the next phone call came, and then I was ready right away for sure. But yeah, that definitely helped me get into this situation with a calm and like clean level of focus.
Go to Cody.
Beau, do you remember the meeting in August where AJ asked what sort of team do you guys want to be, and was there anything impactful about that?
Yeah, it was. I can't remember if it was in August or if it was July, one of those two. But it was a team meeting, and you know, when team meetings happen, usually things aren't going well, and you're like, well, what is this going to be? What is it going to be like? And it wasn't us getting blasted. It wasn't anything bad. It was more so just asking us and kind of having everyone look in the mirror and ask themselves, what am I doing to be a part of a winning team? Because right now, at that time, we were not a winning team, and there was a lot of things that we could be doing individually and then as a group to help build towards wins. And what I remember was just to try to put everything else to the side and realize that the goal as a group is to try to win. And all of the numbers and all of the contract stuff, that's also what he said. It's just like all of that stuff will take care of itself if you go out there and you play for one another and you go out there and win. And I mean, I can't remember the exact date, but I would imagine that it probably aligned with a turning point in the season. So yeah, it was impactful for sure.
Anything else for Beau? Jason?
From closing some games to opening others, how much have you embraced what AJ called the other day pitching chaos?
You try to embrace it as much as possible because it is probably as a viewer, but also as a guy that's not knowing when he's going to get called. It is chaos at times. So you try to just be ready. You try to be ready. You try to trust. The thing that I always tell myself is you got to trust that if your name's getting called, there's a reason for it, and you're the guy for the situation. You got to go out there, do your job, and that's it. Like you don't try to make it more than what it is, and you trust that the next guy's going to pick you up, and there's a plan. It's not just randomness. But I would say it's been working, and you definitely trust the guy that's making the decisions because in my eyes, I think he's the best at it. So we just got to be ready as a group of guys that are down there in the pen, and you know, kind of stay ready and trust that when our name gets called, it's the right situation for us.
Rachel?
When AJ really started taking this bullpen strategy, you know, or a few weeks ago he had said it's not hard to get guys to buy in because everybody wants to be here. You want to be playing in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But when this really took shape, was it weird at first? Was it uncomfortable? And how did you break through that wall to just trust the guy making the decision?
Mm-hmm. I would say, yeah, there was an adjustment period for sure because it's somewhat difficult to be able to have a consistent approach out of the pen when you don't really know what your role is. You don't know what inning you're going to throw. We don't know how, like we would have a bolt guy, we wouldn't know how long the bolt guy is going to go. We didn't know how long the guy that was going to open was going to go. So I think the adjustment was really just trying to learn his tendencies as a manager and prepare ourselves throughout the process and try to guess and then also take educated guesses as to when we might go in, and just, you know, we don't want to be out there super focused and stressing the whole time thinking that our name is going to get called the entire game, because it's going to be draining if you're doing that. So you got to kind of just be able to stay calm but also stay prepared at the same time. And I think that was the adjustment for sure, because it's different. It's not the same as having a starter go 6 and then, you know, okay, well, depending on the game, it's probably going to be one of these guys. Depending on this pocket, it's probably going to be one of these guys. It was an adjustment period for sure.
Do you think part of that also comes down to like emotionally removing yourself from what type of appearance you're getting? Because if you have a vision for a role of yourself and that's changed, there could be an emotional buffer to that.
Yeah, that's always the way that I've approached coming out into the game. No matter what inning you throw, I believe that you can help the team because of the fact that even if it's you're down 5, you're down 10, and you need to go cover 3 innings, I think that is a huge role in the grand scheme of things for the team to be able to save arms the next day, to keep other guys fresh in case we need to use more guys the next day. And then obviously when you're in close, tight games, I mean, every pitch matters for sure. So I think no matter what role you're coming out in or what type of game you're pitching in, it's always important. There's no innings that aren't important in the grand scheme of things.
We'll go one more to Jeff.
Just a tiny, quick, detailed type question. How do you ever remember AJ calling a team meeting before? Like, how rare is that?
I don't. I remember players only meetings. Other than spring training, we have a team meeting every day, but I do not remember, because in-season team meetings they're rare. They don't happen very often. So yeah, I can't really remember, honestly. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Beau, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.